All right, welcome back to RAF. All right, welcome back to RAI Adventures. If you're new to the channel, I am John, and this is another part to our 302 build for our Four Winds boat project. So when I was going through the footage just a couple of minutes ago here on the camera, I realized I forgot a step. And when you're building an engine, if you ever have questions, go back and double check. It's easier to double check now than when you have the engine built and you're running it for the first time and something major goes wrong. So what I forgot to do is I did not put any assembly lube on my rods and on the crank. I thought something was funny because it was really hard to crank over. It did crank over, but it was hard. I did oil the rings and the pistons and everything, but I did not put any oil on the crank. So I hope I didn't score the bearings or anything. I realized I forgot a step. Okay, if your machine shop hasn't installed them, you got 3 freeze plugs. One right here by your cam, one right up here, still close to the cam but towards the top, and then one back in there behind where the distributor would go. So all I'm going to do is I got a 9/32 socket on a 1/4 inch drive extension. It fits right in the 1/2 inch freeze plug. I'm just going to put a little RTV on it. A little dab will do ya. We're going to put it right in here. Take my dead blow hammer and put it in like that. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to install this thrust plate for the camshaft. I'm going to put a little assembly lube or on the back side that rides against the cam. It does say back bottom, so that's the back. This goes to that hole there. Okay, now I'm going to go get the little sprocket to put on the crank. Okay, the back of the sprocket, according to my instructions, it has an A, an R, and a dot for 0. So I want to go with stock, so 0, top dead center on one, the woodruff key is straight up. I want the dot straight up. I did have this in an oven, so it should slip right on. Okay, now I'm going to get the chain, which I have soaking in oil, and I'm going to get the big sprocket that will go on up there. So My timing mark there needs to line up with that there. So I have it on the dial. I'm going to rotate it so that it's straight down. Okay, I'm going to get the bolt. You don't want to tap it because you may end up tapping the freeze cap or whatever on the back of the cam. You'll tap it right out the back of the engine. I got my mechanical fuel pump lobe, a little bit of Loctite on that. We're going to put this in place, tighten it down. If you're going to use an electric fuel pump, you don't need this. You still need to put the bolt in it. 45 foot-pounds. Alright, now I'm going to have to get a pry bar, hold the engine from turning. I'm going to go ahead and install my bolt for my harmonic balancer. We'll slap the wrench on it and show you how it turns over. And right there, my timing marks are lined up. Number 1's at top dead center. Now we'll move on to the cover, timing cover. I am just cleaning the surface off here of any oil or anything because I'm going to be putting adhesive on the gasket to stick it on there. Alright, what I always like to do is the gasket goes on like this. I was always taught to put some type of spray adhesive on the gasket. So I'm going to lay this over here on a piece of cardboard and spray it. Then I'm going to bring it back and stick it on the engine. So now I got spray adhesive on there. I'm going to line this up to where it goes. I'm going to put it on there, put it on there, put it on there. Peel it off and stick it back on. Make sure your holes are lined up. Alright, this gasket also has a knockout in it if you have locating dowel pins. My timing cover is not set up for them, so I left those in. Then on this side of the timing cover, I went ahead on the mating surface and put some Permatex on it. I'm going to put one of my bolts in. I may have to have Ryan help, but I don't know yet. That one's in. These top two are 1 inch. So if you need to know the bolt thread size, they're 5/16 by 18 thread count. And these ones, top two, are 1 inch long. I'm just snugging them up finger tight right now. All right, there you have it until I get the water pump. I don't have it yet.